guys, last week we talked about our city, state, and all those different things that help us know where we live. So remember that we start with city, and our city is Kansas City. So Kansas City, by the start, it says, I live here, and Kansas City is right here on the border of Missouri and Kansas. That's why we call it Kansas City. So we are here in Missouri, and we're right here in the corner of Missouri. So we have our United States map, and where there are 50 states. States are made up by the borders. You can see the different colors to show us all the states. And we live right here in the state of Missouri. The whole country that we live in is called the United States. Today we're going to talk about some landmarks and some different places that might be familiar to you or you've heard of. And we're going to talk about where they are on the map in relation to where we live. So the first one we're going to talk about that I'm sure you might have seen before, or maybe you've been to St. Louis, but is the Gateway Expansion Monument, which is the arch. So the arch represents how we moved from here and expanded this way. So when America had first started, we were over here and we started to expand and expand. And then they built the arch to symbolize when we were able to do the Louisiana Purchase and buy all of the states and land over here. So the Gateway Arch is located in St. Louis, Missouri, so it's actually really close to where we live. It's only about a 3.5-hour drive to go see that arch in St. Louis. Another monument you may have heard of is not really a monument, but a very famous city, Las Vegas. So we have heard of Las Vegas. It's a very famous city, and it is right here in the state of Nevada. So Nevada is over here, and Vegas is in Nevada. Another famous city you may have heard of is Hollywood. Hollywood is in Los Angeles, California. So it is in California, which is our big state that's over here right on the coast. Another monument in California is the Golden Gate Bridge. Golden Gate Bridge is in San Francisco. It is a giant, big, long bridge that goes over the Bay Area. So you might have seen it. It's kind of golden colored or coppery colored. We'll look at some pictures of that on Thursday. So it is also in California, near Hollywood. Another place you may have heard of, or a monument you may have seen, is the Space Needle. So the Space Needle is a very famous building in Seattle, Washington. Washington is up here. Now there is Washington State, and that's not where the president lives. This is just a state called Washington. Washington, D.C., where the president lives, is actually over here, where this little orange star is in Maryland. We have Washington, D.C. So the president lives here. He does not live in Washington State. Another famous place you may have heard of is Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a historical waterfall over a dam that was built, and people go there to see it. It's pretty cool. It is in New York. So Niagara Falls is up here in New York. We also have the French Quarter. The French Quarter is in Louisiana, and there's a celebration that you may have heard of that will make you realize what this is. So the French Quarter is in Louisiana, and this is where they celebrate Mardi Gras. So if you've ever heard of Mardi Gras, that's where they celebrate that. We also, and finally, have the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is also here near Nevada and California and Vegas. The Grand Canyon is a giant formation of rocks that was created because a river used to run through it, and it smoothed all the rocks, and now there's a giant hole there. It's very famous, and people go there all the time. So remember that we live here in Missouri. The arch is very close to us, and then we have all these other famous things you may have heard of all over our country. Next video, you're going to see that we're going to talk more about some historical monuments that are more related to the United States and their history.